let's get started on our topics. First one of the day, regaining composure. I feel like I haven't really gotten better at keeping my composure. I still get pissed because it's easy to keep your composure when things are going your way. So anytime I'm in a ranked match and I'm doing okay and I'm winning, it's pretty easy to stay chill. 545, thank you very much. It's pretty easy to stay chill when things are going your way. But what's hard is when things start to not go your way and you're really focusing. You know, you're focused and then you lose. Because I think a part of everyone feels like when they're in their best, they're focusing at their best, they can handle it. So when you focus at your best and you can't handle it, then you start questioning everything that you're doing. Oh, maybe I frickin' suck at this game. But regaining your composure, I think, has more to do just with experience and seeing the results from being able to recalibrate your head when things aren't going your way. And I've gotten better at that. I don't go on quite the losing streaks I used to go to, because I just remember that if I can keep my focus on a certain element of the game, I can at least maintain my standard, you know? And those things are sometimes harder than others, because I always try to remember what my good elements are from a good session, like what was so good about that session that I can't do every single time. How come I go on 20 win streaks sometimes and sometimes I can't win at all? And it's just hard to pay attention, especially when most of your thoughts are telling you that you're not very good, or most of your thoughts are telling you you're not doing enough, or you're not able to do it. If you're wasting like mental bandwidth thinking like, ugh, I just can't do this, like that I just can't do this, it's just floating around in your head when that could be a strat. It's like you don't have like an infinite mental span, so the more you spend time thinking about the wrong things that you're doing, or maybe it's even more abstract than that. Maybe it's just like, oh, I can't do this, and there's no real, like, you're trying to nail down fog, as they say, or like you're trying to grab at clouds or whatever they say. When you're not really, nothing's totally concrete. You're just, it's all feeling. I feel like shit. I'm playing like shit. I just feel this way about the way I'm playing. So I don't know. Being emotionally invested in your outcomes is something that we all naturally do, because if you put yourself on the line and it doesn't amount to being enough, then of course you're gonna feel a certain way about it. Like, I try my best and I still lose. How do you not get emotionally invested in that? Or rather, on the other side, why would that have to do with your emotions? You know, what is you trying your best and losing have to do with your emotions? If you just separate yourself from the concept, like, I'm trying my best and I lose, why is that something I should concern myself with, rather than just trying to figure out what I did wrong? You know, those are the people that are going to be the best. If you're getting emotional over losses, every loss, or arbitrary losses, like, there's some that mean more than others. Punk losing at Evo is a little bit heavier than going on a 2 or a 4 game loss streak in ranked. You know, they're different. They don't mean as much. It means everything for Tokido to push through those big time games, but what does this have to do with that? You know, that's really regaining your composure has to do with just paying. How much do I have to stress? Like, it's always just about how much your attention span can give you. Pay attention for longer. As I've mentioned before, set one of your goals, nothing to do with the game. Set your goals for trying to pay attention longer, win or lose. When Rich brings up a good point, fight the tilt. When you feel that doubt in your chest, that kind of tightness in your chest, and that cloudiness in your brain that's telling you, like, maybe you don't really got what it takes. I just did that yesterday. I was playing ranked off stream, and my gameplay is better when I'm tilted, but I still get tilted. And the thing is, playing good when you're tilted is a skill that I think can only be improved through experience. Like, you just have to be in tilt and play in that circumstance in order to get better at it. But if you're able to just get around the whole tilted part, your good standard is still better than your advanced tilt, as you would say. It's still better to not have been tilted in the first place, but you are at some point going to get tilted, and if you can play through that, you won't have such bad losing streaks. So, I mean, regaining composure is key to longevity, for sure. Just remember, if anything, your composure is more important than your skills when you're trying to talk about being consistent. This song's called Volcano from the Pokemon Snap soundtrack. Okay, let's skip personal demons and go right into win rate. Actually, Rich, this came up during our session. I think I even said I think I'm gonna make a little category about win rate, and that's because if you were to think to yourself, like, how do I find out who the best so-and-so player is? Well, let's take a look at their win rate. Oh, in his last 100 games, he has a 60% win rate, while this person has an 85% win rate. Your initial thought is, well, clearly the 85% win rate Akuma is our better player, more consistent player. But what are the objectives of both the Akuma players? What is the objective of the 65% and the 85% one? Maybe they're both the same. Maybe their sole focus is winning by whatever game plan they have, right? And if that's the case, then you might say that 85% Akuma is better consistently. But what if we're talking about two people who are thinking about two different things? Like someone who's solely focused on always modifying their game plan and trying to take things from matches more than just the win, but like, how do I completely control the situation and try new things? And I feel like there's some really good players out there who have a lower win rate, and I'm not just saying that because my win rate suffers, but I also can't really say that I spend every match thinking about the W that much, you know? Whereas there's some people who are just inclined to always find a way to win the match. A perfect example, actually, is I was watching Tega's Demon Run. Remember when, I don't know if you guys saw, but he was doing my Demon Challenge? He was doing a great job mitigating points lost by just winning the matches that seemed helpless. Whereas I, on the other hand, tried to make a demon out of every single situation. Losing, that's how I lost 6600 LP, because I tried desperately in every game, every round to get the demon. He did the same thing, got all the demons. Mind you, he only got half the demons I got, but still, he lost a lot less LP by choosing better. Cherry picking his moments better, because he knew that over time, if he were to be able to spend the time to get it, he would eventually get it instead of having to force it every single game. So he was clearly focused on not losing. Like he was clearly focused. I don't know how he feels about his LP, but there's certainly an act of care there when he doesn't want to lose points. It's like his default was to win the match. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I saw sometimes he won on accident. Like, oh, I don't, you know, like his gear kicked in to not lose. But then you have people like, let's look at Takamura, for example. You want to talk about someone who, sorry I didn't answer your question, Mag, but Takamura, he does his own thing. That's why he's hard to learn from. It's hard, when you see a Tokido match and you study it, you can kind of figure out to yourself why he would put himself in such a situation. But when you watch Takamura, sometimes it's hard to explain why he does the things that he does. Or some of it even seems not to dog him because he's a better player than me, but some of it seems like something I would do, or like something seems like a little unsophisticated, if you will. Like, I don't know how to put it other than he must have a PC account. I haven't watched another Akuma player in a long time with the intent of learning, but I just did watch that. Like I said, I don't think Crossover is a better or worse Akuma than me, but he pointed out offensive V reversals in a way that made it really stuck to me, because he talked about having such a hard time in the Guile matchup and then offensive V reversals. So it's not an Akuma specific thing, but he kind of showed a part of the game. Let's look at his win rate right now. Maybe it's good. 74. That's probably, so he just won a premier event, mind you, not too long ago, but 74 is less than your average high rank Akuma win rate. Let's look at Fujimura. It can't be below 80. 86. See what I'm saying? Let's look at. I don't want to look at mine. My dog shit. Let's look at Tega. Well, I think the last thing he did was actually the demon thing, so it's gonna be garbage, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't count. Let's look at NL even on his old account. 79. That's actually, what's his new account called again? Oh, Insutant. Like he's already way up here somewhere. Wait, we're. Oh, maybe he's using a different thing. Yeah, but there's people who, like, to me, does it surprise you at all that Fujimura has a way higher win rate? Does that surprise you? That doesn't surprise me. 77 cumulative rate. Let's look at Takamura's cumulative win rate. Actually, it should be good because it's a new account. Still, look at that. 70% win rate for a champion level Akuma player. 70% ranked match win rate, and he's not even in. He's only been Grandmaster for the last 20,000 LP. You see what I'm saying? That's not champion level win rate in my opinion. That's not champion level. I might have something like that. Let's see what I got. I mean, I fucking suck at this game in comparison, but I bet mine's not that far off. Come on, is it? Okay, it's really not that far off. I threw away a lot of games on purpose. I had a 20% win rate because of my stupid demon things. Who, you talking about Takamura? Takamura's game plan is just less consistent than, say, Fujimura. Fujimura is a way better player. In my opinion, Fujimura just as a player is way better. That being said, Takamura is so specialized in his particular game plan that if you've never played anything like him before, he's gonna run you over, right? But let's watch a match, shall we? Takamura got that tournament gameplay. You know what that means? That he doesn't tilt, and he can play the way he wants to when he wants to play it. And even if sometimes I watch, I'm not even, because I don't identify myself as a top level Akuma, so I could say that when I watch this guy, sometimes I see things that are questionable. Like I think like that's not top level stuff you're doing right there. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just. I don't know. Let's pick a higher level person. Okay. Well, damn. Huh. What is going on here, you guys? Come on. Okay. You know what? Actually, that might be the perfect matchup to watch. Did he win a single round? Okay, he won one round. Great. Let's detour for a second. And I'll show you guys what I mean. Takamura is a champion. He's going to Capcom Cup. He's better than you are. And I am. In tournament. Did you see who he had to beat? This is recently because it's on his PC account. So this is pretty recent. So right off the bat, he didn't take into account, at least I don't think he did, that this Urian's using V skill 1. Maybe he did, but air fireball against V skill 1 loaded Urian is. You see, this is stuff that I would do. Already, I'm already seeing kind of like that's. You see what I'm saying? Like he's kind of like if NL listened to me for a month straight about how you play this game. Honestly, the more I watch Takamura, the more I see a lot of the way I play in him, which shows a lack of, to me, in my opinion, a lack of, like he hasn't thought about certain facets of the game as much as he should. And I want to ask him about that. I want to see how wrong I am about that, you know? Am I that wrong? Because he does a lot of insanely specific, advanced things. But then there's other parts that I feel like we're on the same level. But it's those things that he like, because sometimes he does stuff in tournament. I'm like, what? Remember when he played Fujimura and he V-triggered DP through the kunai or through the when he throws the caltrops on the ground? And I was like, what? It's that type of stuff in the heat of the moment against a top level player that keeps him alive. There's no way Fujimura saw that coming. Like, what? So he labs things. That was good too. But, the double heavy punch. I'm just curious that if Takamura played in a first to 10 against another Akuma like NL or Sandbag or something, what that would look like. That's a fuck up, isn't it? Yep. What did he try to do there? Oh, wait, what? I don't get it. EXDP? Oh, yes. He thought he was going to do down forward heavy kick into cancel V-trigger. You're exactly right. The interesting thing about that, though, is he used 3 punches. That's kind of funny to me. He has a 3-punch button? No, even if he did super to beat the cancel, better to do EXDP. Quarrel kick is -4. Yeah, so he tried to punish the quarrel kick and cover the tackle at the same time. Yeah, that's exactly what he's trying to do. Because if he did down forward heavy kick canceled into V-trigger 2, it has enough hit points to break the armor. That's exactly what he's trying to do. Huge mental mistake? I just think it was an execution error. Okay, I'm all ears. Speaking of which, I was watching my just late. He tried to do the latest. Did he try to do? Yeah. He tried to do the side switch there. Okay. That was an interesting transition from Takamura there. That was interesting. The EX knee was actually better. So now I think Takamura is probably looking. Oh, that was. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is actually exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly that right there is why his win rate is lower. That right there. He was willing to try something that he wasn't sure about. There's no way he had that set up and I'm just gonna as soon as he does this I'm gonna execute this. This was an improvisational decision. Do it. How off was he? He was off by 3 frames. Exactly. Nakata, you couldn't have said it better. He looks like he labs in match. That's such a good way of putting it. That is such a good way of putting it. He is labbing in match. That is such a good way to put it. I lab in match. No, it's not that he doesn't care. I just think this is his preferred way of training because honestly, who wants to sit in the lab and just practice things? We're not all try-hard Ryu players, you know. We like to learn throughout the action, and if you can apply that stuff in tournament, it can be just as effective. Like for example, I was just watching my tournament matches from last week, and I do a lot of the same stupid bullshit. I'm still overusing forward heavy punch, but I wasn't taking huge risks. I was cutting out the risk, and the things that I wanted to do, I executed them pretty well, especially in the Dan Slip matchup. I executed the things I wanted to do perfectly, and same thing versus Rushdown. I just executed well, you know. How was NLBC? I got 7th. I had a good run. Instead of trying to prevent something that can have an outcome that can be safely OS'd, just allow your opponent to put themselves in that position of disadvantage. So you're saying instead of trying to stop the kick tackle from happening, just let them do the tackle and be -2 or whatever? I like that. I like that. However, if he were to get the EXDP, which should normally not be that hard, he would have not only got the damage and the corner, but then he would have wasted his meter on nothing. Plus, do you really want Gurian's getting away with Coral Kick? You know, like just letting him do Coral Kick? But yeah, Mag, depends on how good the situation for punishing it was. Yeah, I don't really think that was a mental error. I think he was waiting for it. He was waiting for the cancel and fucked up. How I do see what you're saying though. If it's a suboptimal decision, I see what you're saying. I get that. If it was a suboptimal position that the Urian would have put himself in anyway, so being -2 right in front of you, but being -2 in front of Urian kind of sucks too. You know what these freaks are gonna do. True, but it seemed he was a bit far for Akuma light button punishes. Yeah, but he did EXDP with the sole purpose of punishing with DP and stopping the tackle with it. And you could say that was pretty risky, and the chances, and having full super, the chances of super coming out is higher, obviously. You can't get super without having critical art like on deck. But the fact that also that he used a 3-punch button is so funny to me. You use a 3-punch button? I stopped doing that like 3 years ago. Interesting. Hey, morning, Patty. I'm not judging, I'm just saying I stopped using that a long time ago. I need my V-skill button now, okay? And I need my 3 kicks button. Why would you have 3 punches and not like a V-trigger button? I don't know. We all have our reasons to do things. Let's keep watching. And that's it, actually. Yeah, so not much to watch there. Okay. This brings us to the last Oh, so let's sum up win rate real quick. Sorry. Win rate does not always dictate who the better player is, and you don't use your win rate as like a fucking measurement for how successful you are as a player. What matters is there's only a few things that even matter if you think about it. What difference does it make if you lose the next 100 games and win the next 100 games? Other than the exposure, because then you can post on Twitter that you got 100 wins in a row, all that shit. But it's all just the exposure. Winning a tournament, you make a few bucks, you get the exposure. That's what matters, right? Because what if I got second place at NLBC this week? Am I just automatically a better Akuma player now? Did I just suddenly level up? Or did I always kind of have that in me, and it just took until that right amount of bracket luck and the right execution and the right mindset to finally get me there? But if I did get second or first place at NLBC, people would regard me higher, even if it had nothing to do. What if I win NLBC and then the next day I have a 60% win rate in ranked? It's totally arbitrary. What if it's like these little decisions, you know? Like what if I beat Art and then Mandrake, he fell out of the tournament, so that would have put me at 5th place, and then I had a good run against Just a Kid because I beat him sometimes, you know, and then I got 3rd place. Ooh, Stack Bradford top Akuma, one of the best Akumas in the East. But even though nothing really changed other than you know, the outcome of the tournament. So you're saying tournament results obviously matter. They matter to the community more. They matter to the community more. If I were to get 100% win rate in ranked, people would be like, damn, right? But if I got first place at NLBC, which you can argue which one would be harder. Can you imagine getting 100 wins in a row unranked? That to me is probably harder than winning a tournament. Getting 100 wins in a row unranked is probably comparable to fucking winning a premier event. I can't believe, like, unless you have like insane luck. That's crazy. Imagine getting 100 games, 30 of those probably a little laggy. Most of them against Super Diamond, which, you know, Super Diamonds aren't like free, but some Ultimate Grandmasters for sure. Definitely, if you're, and especially Gachi-kun, who's in Japan, you definitely ran into a couple top players, right? The chances of you not running into like Kichipa or something like that. So yeah, win rate, I lab as I play, just as Takamura seemingly does. So you're gonna lose more when you're just trying things out and improvising. Some of these guys don't like to improvise, you know. I don't know how much Fujimura improvises in match. I think he does exactly what he wants to execute, and that's it, I think. And that's a skill in itself, because that shows like restraint, like don't deviate. Not deviating from a game plan is really hard. Not deviating from a game plan is really hard. And to be fair, that's what matters most in a tournament. I don't think I played, if you watch those replays, I don't really feel like I played particularly well, but what I did do was less often deviate from my game plan. Not for 1 second did I deviate from my game plan with Dance Slip. I knew exactly what I wanted to do the whole time, and I just executed it. You know how quick that could have changed if I was demon flipping more? If I just demon flipped twice more? The one time I deviated from my game plan was in the highest pressure situation against Desnir, and I almost lost against someone who I find fundamentally flawed compared to the last 2 guys I just played and the 2 guys I played after that. But I almost lost to him because I deviated. I started demon flipping out of sheer pressure and not trusting my game plan because of the V-Trigger 2, and I just started to focus a little less and stuff like that. So I started to make changes that didn't need to happen. Because if I just stayed on the ground, I wouldn't have lost a single round, I don't think. So this week, I'm just going to try the same thing, you know, stick to the game plan again. I'm ready. You have to be ready to be on the back burner really hard. There's a couple new things I'm going to try to implement, especially versus if I run into Mandrake again. I have a better idea of what I want to do. but I applied what I learned from Mandrake to the Rushdown match, and that went well. So we'll see. But yeah, deviating from the game plan is not always good. It's hardly good. Sometimes maybe it could benefit for you to be like, okay, we need to toss this game plan out and try something else because this isn't fucking working. Like for example, against Art, my game plan was not working at all. But the thing is, I stuck to it and it didn't work. So that was a time of when maybe I should have reconsidered and tried something else. You know? So I think on top of learning how to stick to a game plan, then above that, one level higher is sticking to your game plan when you know you should stick to it, and then deviating once you know that it's not working. Because I stuck to my game plan versus Art and it sucked. It was a shitty game plan. Mandrake forced me out of my game plan and tried to go above and beyond and overextend essentially what I was trying to do, and I lost immediately right when I did that. I started supering instead of DP. I missed other DPs. I ignored dots in my head. Like the last thing that match did, I got a V-trigger DP and I did crouch fierce and a back throw, and I knew he was gonna read it. I knew it in my head. I was like, I did the crouch fierce as the frame kill, and I was like, I'm gonna back throw here, and he's gonna fucking headbutt. Crouch fierce, back throw, he headbutts. I'm like, why? I just totally ignored it in my head. You know, I went against what I was thinking. Don't panic. Well, you never fails. Well, certainly you can not panic and still lose, but I see what you're saying. That the chances of you winning while panicking go down like 50%. The chances of you winning while panicking are really low against a good player. And even when you win while panicking, I don't even feel good about that. You know? I feel good about games where I stuck to it to the end. So that kind of sums that up. We're just finishing up to talk about win rate. I don't know why I have that as one word. I kind of say it like one word. Win rate. So there's that. Yeah, exactly. Like Seven says, yes, even winning while panicking is bad because it feeds toward inconsistency. Yeah, and you can't really put the credit to yourself if you underperform and got lucky. Like say for example, I panicked, did EX demon flip, got it demon, like I just panicked and did EX demon flip and it worked, and then I got the, and then I don't know. I panicked, he panicked, but my panic was better. It's hard for me to really feel good about that. I feel good about matches that I was in it the whole time. Those are the ones, and when I lose too. For example, my best example of that is versus Maureen in Minnesota when I lost. A really close match. But I didn't have that same, I fucking suck or whatever, because I tried the whole time. Like even towards the end, I started off playing better, and then she adapted while I didn't adapt. Even if I was trying to, she got me, and I didn't feel bad about it. But then the next match against someone who I just deemed better than just by merely existing, I didn't give him the time of day, and I lost 2 games straight, 4 rounds straight, and I felt like frickin' sobbing after that. So you not playing to your best and winning will always be more empty than playing to the best of your abilities and losing. At least it should. Now, empty wins. You want to talk about empty wins? Well, you guys already know the people I'm going to list off when it comes to empty wins. But do you see these guys getting stoked about winning? Anyway. Let's talk about personal demons. When I wrote down personal demons, I was thinking about people who you actively want to avoid, and that if you see them, you have feelings of loss before it even happens. Like you can already feel the sensation of you losing. of having to overcome an extra obstacle just to beat them. Like, it's not just I have to be, do my game plan and win, but also there's an extra obstacle about I'm already kind of in a losing situation. Luckily, at this moment, I don't feel that way about anyone in particular. Like, for example, I've never beaten Sanford's Zeku in a set, but I don't necessarily feel like I have an extra obstacle to overcome when I play him. Like, I don't know what you think, I'm gonna lose this. Yeah, maybe at some point you just stop thinking that way, Seven says, I used to feel that way till I learned the game better. Yeah, I think at some point, you don't think that way anymore, but maybe someone like Fudo thought that way about Tokido, always losing in grand finals. Like, maybe his personal demon wasn't Tokido specifically, but the first place position. But I don't necessarily feel that way. If I were to run into anyone in tournament, it wouldn't be like, oh, I always lose to this guy, I have no chance, or I'm in a losing position from the start. I'm trying to think here. Because, for example, in that last tournament, I saw Dan slip, and he's beaten me the last few times, but I didn't think it's impossible. I didn't think, this guy's just above and beyond me, so trying is obsolete. Or, I guess when you play the game long enough, you know that anything could happen if you just set yourself to it. And, again, rush down someone I never beat before. So there's no reason for me to think I could do it. There's really no reason for me to think I could have beat Rushdown other than the belief that if you stick to your game plan, it can happen. Like, I didn't have the evidence to believe I could beat him, He beats me in ranked. He beat me 5-0 last time in Battle Lounge. What makes me think that I could overcome that without really labbing against Rush? I didn't lab him. I've been playing Urien, but... Well, I guess BDN does have a sort of Urien, Rushdown playstyle, but... and also Metro M, before the tournament... would beat me more often than I beat him, I think. But I don't think he's ever going to beat me again. I kind of figured out something about him, and I don't think it's going to work anymore. But someone used to be. In tournament, there was this Laura player named Alpaca21 that right when I saw him and I had to play him, I'm like, God damn it. That's the demon. When you say, God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, Rabito. If there's anyone who has a little bit tinge of like, this is gonna be hell, for me it's Rabito. I don't think I've ever beaten Rabito a set in my life. I can't beat that guy. You see what I just said there? You kind of get this feeling before the set even starts, like, I can't fucking beat this guy. That's not true, of course. But that guy has my number. Or I don't even think he has my number. I just think the way he plays perfectly conflicts what I tried to do. You used to feel that way in ranked against me. Rabito, I know he plays online still, but was mostly active in actual tournaments of Street Fighter 4. No, I started... I didn't go to my first tournament until Street Fighter 5. Oh no, my first tournament was Frosty Fausting's 9, and that was the last year of Street Fighter 4. My personal demons are phobia of getting command grab over. I mean, those are just what I meant by personal demons is like literally an actual being. I guess it could be characters. Like it could even be a character. Like you see a character and you automatically think. Zangief. There's no way Akumas don't see Zangief and they're like, you get scarred by the thoughts of EXSPD or a flex that works perfectly and then you're dead. Guile. I just, I mean, you could say that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fair to say that Sagat, especially online, is like a personal demon where I don't think people put as much emphasis on that matchup as I do. But I just feel like I've played that enough to where I should know all the things I know. But who knows, maybe this last piece of the puzzle is the offensive V reversals, and I'll be like, Jesus Christ, was that really it? I doubt it. I still think that's a tough matchup. But even Akuma players are 50-50 about it with me. So if the whole Akuma community is telling me one thing about a Akuma player or about Akuma problems, then it's easier to agree with. But when it's kind of like half Akuma saying like I don't have a problem with Sagat, the first thing I think is, you don't play the right Sagats. If you play an Akuma, a Sagat that knows the Akuma matchup, that shit's diff. That shit hits different. But anyway, I don't want to go too far into that rabbit hole. But yeah, so that is, like, I personally think when I play against Sagat, the thoughts immediately come up like, here we go. Here comes any particular Sagat, and I'm in trouble. Here we go. Be ready to try way harder than these guys. That's what I think in my head. Like, be ready to try to perfectly play these guys, because if you make any little error, oops. But it's pretty much that. I forgot the filters of my chat right there are going to change the colors of the emotes. Now Alex Valier is blue. Lol. That's pretty much it. I think the win rate thing was kind of like the most interesting. Just because someone has a style equivalent to water and someone has a play style equivalent to fire, it doesn't mean the first player is better. It's just the way they play is a direct counter to the way the second player plays. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Infamy, what are you talking about? I've been talking about for 45 minutes straight. What are you talking about? I'm on minute 46. I started right at 9 o'clock. It's 9:47 now. What do you mean that's all? Is there something I should elaborate on more? The personal demons one is kind of like maybe they can build up over time too. Maybe I'll become someone's someone's demon. You know, like maybe I'm Dan Sub's demon. I don't even realize it. Maybe he hates playing against me, and as soon as he sees me, he's like, God. Do you mind touching up on the Akuma Seth matchup? Is it bad, good, or even? Let me finish. Let me just wrap up these topics here, and then we can move on to other stuff. So, okay, just a quick recap. Regaining composure is best learned through experience. I don't even know if there's truly another way other than making that your goal, just like anything else. If you're gonna make a hit confirm a goal, why not make regaining composure a goal or main priority? If you're gonna make learning this matchup a priority, why not make regaining composure, recognizing when things aren't going your way, and that your mind starts to go in a different direction when you start to eat shit? Maybe at that point, that's when you recognize, like, if it's your priority, you have a big post-it note on the desktop that says, hey, here he comes. Here he comes, meaning your little devil inside that says you're a fucking waste of space, bitch. That's an exaggeration, but when you start to lose composure, the thoughts in your head of like, you know, man, I'm doing something wrong, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Regaining it is your second chance to overcome the tilt, because sometimes the tilt comes and there's nothing you can do about it. The tilt has already entered your head, your brain's already, you know, lost a few wrinkles, you know? But then you have another opportunity to kind of stop it while it's behind, or stop it while it's already kind of gotten in there. And it's kind of like I don't want to be frickin' insensitive, but it's like a cancerous thought, you know, like where the longer you let it embed into your brain, the more it eats away at what you're trying to do. And if you can stop it early, the chances of it going away is higher, you know? So being able to recognize that as an issue right when it comes. Like you can start to feel it. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, here it comes. When I feel my fist just wanting to go through my monitor, like that feeling. Just a projection of like my frustration in this fist and just take it out onto the game, you know? Gotta stop that. And you can stop it if you recognize it. That's the thing about recognizing psychological issues like that, is like you can see it as it's happening. And that's your chance to regain your composure. Like, think you can say like, oh, this is the real goal right here, right when I feel that this is the real goal. Now it has nothing to do with the game. Now it's 100% here. The only problem is people add an extra layer to it by saying, okay, I'm regaining my composure. I can feel it. And they think that's like a shortcut to winning your next match. Oh, now that my composure is totally regained, now I should be able to play to the best of my abilities. And then guess what? You lose. And that adds a second layer to you losing even harder. Because now you just regained your composure for the sole purpose of thinking that you're going to win the next match. But little did you know it was kind of just like a trick in your head to bring you down even lower. Don't you ever feel that way? Like, okay, I feel great. I've regained my composure, but then you're just one loss away from thinking, you know, that you are feeling impeccable, and then one little thing just brings you down even harder because you thought to yourself, like, if I'm optimal, I play optimal, which means I can't ever possibly lose. There's no way I can lose to Devon 1200 if I'm feeling my best. Then you play your best and you lose anyway. You know what happens when you play your best and you lose anyway? Yeah. Against someone who you think you should never lose to? That's a fault in itself, huh? To think to yourself, I should never lose to this person. I'm so guilty of that, and that's so fucking incorrect. But that means you weren't at your best. If you play at your best and you lose, that doesn't mean you weren't playing your best. Sometimes people are better than you in that particular game. If I play someone right now and I lose, let's say I play I don't want to keep using the same names. I play Shaquille Son and he beats me 2-0. You know, he got me there. If I'm playing at my best and he beat me, he got me there. But then if I play him and beat him, maybe he wasn't playing at his best the second time around. And then the third time around, we're both playing like shit and it's 2-1. Or whatever. Or we're both playing really well and it was 2-1. Every set is different. Your mind's a little different in each set. You know, what happened before then? What was your set like before then? It's also possible your opponent worked harder and improved enough to beat you at your best. Exactly, yeah, for sure. Sometimes you play your best and you lose. It doesn't mean that you were playing bad. It just means that they might have just been playing better. Everyone's good at this fucking game. Everyone's good at this game. Everyone like, for example, Rich is a perfect example. Like, it's not impossible for Rich to beat me. Things happen in this game where I can make one wrong call, 2 wrong calls, game over. It's not impossible that if I ran into Rich in ranked, that he beats me 2-0. That's not impossible. I could make a huge DP error. He could jump in. I miss the DP. I get in the corner. He activates V trigger because he got a crush counter. Home runs me. And that could happen. And then I don't recover after that. I think, like, what the fuck, man? What was that? Then I lose the second game. That's totally possible. I would almost say likely in that situation. So yeah. And then what do you know? I play in the next game and I destroy them. It just depends on how well you're playing versus how well the person's playing and where their mind's at, you know? Now, you would think that if I'm playing at my apex and Rich is playing at his apex, I think generally it's safe to say that I would win most matches. But that is not a first of two. And that is not how the game works, really. All the time. Like, a consistent player should be able to mitigate the damage and win more often. Because that's what it's really about, is when you're doing your risk reward and being able to make sure that you're not going to take a ton of damage for this option. Right? And you're going to get a fat reward for this option. How risky is it to do this versus this character with this option? So, being able to really decide what is worth doing, what is not worth doing, is huge. And those people who don't take a ton of unnecessary risk are just going to be, on average, better. Higher win rate, rather.